Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. On today's menu we have a topic that I think is very important to talk about, especially as someone who makes videos, who talks about beauty, talks about makeup, reviews products. I think it is important to talk about the fact that overconsumption has been, I feel like, at its peak at the moment. I feel like especially due to TikTok, it's almost like we're living through the exact same thing that we have been through on YouTube before, where people have huge collections of makeup. Then people started to be a little bit more aware of how bad that actually can be for the environment. People started to really criticize brands with huge PR packages. Let's say a foundation bottle and the PR package was huge. And it was a time where people just started to realize we really don't need this. This is wasteful. And I feel like it's almost like we had the huge collections. We went down a bit and we realized that it was probably not the best thing. And I feel like with TikTok becoming so big, it's almost like what we've been through is happening on TikTok again, where people have huge collections. It's a lot of overconsumption. Some people have more makeup than 10 people or even 100 people could use in their lifetime, it feels like. So I kind of felt the need to talk about this topic. Probably have more in my collection than a regular human being would need. I just wanted to talk about this topic today, kind of de-influence you. That's probably my biggest thing. I want to touch on a few things that you probably don't need when it comes to makeup. And before anyone jumps at me, you do with your money what you want. You can buy all the makeup that you want, but I just want to share my thoughts on trying to be a little bit more aware of what we consume. So yeah, let's kind of de-influence each other. So I have a few notes on my phone, and the first thing that I thought about was the fact that we don't need 100 lip liners. I have over the last few months really fallen back in love with lip liners. Like today, this is my type of lip combo at the moment. I get that sometimes we fall in love with a formula and we want to try so many different colors. For myself, I've just noticed that I don't need every new single lip liner release. Like Maybelline came out with a few lip liners that look very pretty and seem to be very creamy. But do I need them? No, I don't think that those colors are going to look so different to the colors that I have right now in my collection. So why do I have to add another nude brown if I already have a nude brown in my collection and I'm happy with it? I just don't like the idea of you found something that you like, but you keep on looking for something better. Like, why? If it works for you, just don't fix it. That's my approach at the moment. The next thing I thought about was bronzers. When I look at my collection, I have different finishes. I have cream and I have powder. And then I have different undertones, which again is not really necessary. So having just a bronzer with an undertone that suits you, that should be fine. And then I think it's a good idea if you want to maybe experiment around with the different finishes. For some makeup looks, a powder bronzer may be a better idea than a cream. There was a long time where I was using just my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, because the only thing I needed for my bronzer to do was to warm up my face. And why would I need 5 different bronzers to do that job? If it's a category that you're passionate about, like I'm very passionate about blush and lip, which is why I have the most in that category, then I guess it makes sense. So I don't think that a whole bronzer collection does that much. I don't know. It's just, it all looks so similar on the skin at the end. Even when I use different undertones of bronzers, I still don't think that I look that much different. So yeah, bronzer for me is definitely something that I don't need to have that many of. The next one, I think a lot of people are so into this category, and for myself, I've realized I have enough of that, and that is lip oils. They all tend to look very similar on the lips. I get the idea of trying to find the perfect lip oil, but once you do, why keep on trying more? What's the purpose of that? And I recently saw a video from Kelly Gooch. The title was basically, you don't like makeup, you just like buying it. Like you don't even get around to use the makeup that you really enjoy because you're constantly trying new things. And that just leads to overconsumption at some point. And especially with lip oils, which most brands do, very sheer, pinkish, lip oils, it's all going to look so similar on the lips. That is why I have like a lip oil that's pink toned. I have one that's a deep burgundy. I have one that's kind of a nude color. But even there, like the nude to the pink on the lips, it's not going to be so groundbreakingly different. I just don't think that we need to try every single lip oil that's out there. In the end, they all feel very similar. And they look, especially the look that it gives, is very, very similar. Now the next point, don't need many shadows. It really comes down to what your makeup style is. If you're someone who loves eyeshadow and you do a lot of eyeshadows, intricate designs, whatever it is, you're really into that, then this point really doesn't speak to you probably. But like, I have bought palettes with shades that I know I'm going to like, and there was a few that I knew I wouldn't touch, and that turned out to be true, which in turn made me use that palette even less. That comes down to makeup style. I haven't been really crazy over eyeshadow. I haven't touched my K-beauty palettes in quite a bit, and I have a few of them, which kind of sucks. I don't know, I've just been really into this more natural skin focused, lip focused makeup, and if you know the tones that look good on you and you know the tones that you like, you can really keep it simple. Having some neutrals, maybe like a special glitter topper for once in a while to put on top of the other shadows, that's going to transform it and make your makeup look more interesting. And especially if you know you will not use a shadow and you're trying to convince yourself, oh, but I will use it. Trust me, you are probably not going to use it. I have done that mistake many times and I am not doing that again in the future. Like, there was one palette just recently that I looked at and I was like, yeah, but I'm not gonna use that lavender color. Yeah, but the rest is pretty, so it's still a good deal. But still, why? I'm only buying what I know that I'm really going to be using. So you don't need that many eyeshadows. Again, unless you're passionate about shadows and you love to play with them, then I guess that makes more sense. The next point, I have to take my own advice here, and that is that you don't need 100 blushes. Like I just mentioned, lip and cheek is my favorite category. It's just what I feel like makes the most difference in my makeup look. Like if I'm using a red tone blush, a very peachy tone blush, like that's what makes my makeup look the most different. It's not my eyeshadow. I don't really put focus there anymore, and even if I did, I would usually just use neutrals anyways. And I still have to tell myself I don't need every blush under the sun. I don't need a burgundy blush and a plum blush and like a wine red blush. There's not going to be that much of a difference. Having just a fleshy tone blush, something more statement, something more deep, and you're actually like good. It's almost like with the lip liners. I have my berry tone blushes in my collection that I love so much. Why buy more berry tone blushes if I know it's going to look the exact same on my cheeks? The formulas may differ, but I'm usually very color driven. Like, I don't really care if it's like a super glowy blush or a more satin blush. I'm not really into the finish. I'm more so focused on the color. And if I'm being honest, my Essence Plum Blush is going to be probably very similar to some high-end color. Why buy that if my Essence blush is already giving me the color I want? And then you think you'll have to buy another plum blush because, oh, but that one is so different. No, it's all going to look the exact same on the cheeks. So this is really for myself. I don't need more blushes that all look the same. Like, I have a very bright tone pink. I don't need another pink. They're going to look the exact same on my cheek. Again, like with the bronzers, I get finish. Having a cream blush or a powder blush is obviously going to be very different. So I get having both, which I do. I have cream and powder, but it just doesn't make sense for me to buy like 3 plum shades. They're all going to look the same. Yes, they're different brands. Yes, there may be different formulas. But for someone who's very color driven, it makes no sense. I don't need more blushes. I don't. The next point is that you don't need that many highlighters. Also here, different finishes will make sense, which is again why I have different finishes in my collection. But it doesn't really make sense for me personally to have a icy color, a champagne color, a golden color, a pink color. Don't need every single shift of a highlighter that's out there, especially if you're just trying to give yourself a glow. I don't think that you need many undertones. You don't need 3 champagnes. You don't need 5 cool tone pinks. That's just nuts, I feel like. I think I have 3 highlighters in my collection. 2 powders and 1 liquid. I don't think I have a cream highlighter. I don't have that many highlighters. They all do the same thing on my face. Like, they give me a glow. I don't need that many. It just makes no sense. it all kind of looks the same. Second to last point is that you don't need many brushes. Hear me out. This also goes back to how creative are you with your makeup. If you're someone like me who's very simple, for example, when it comes to eye makeup, you don't need 10 eye makeup brushes. For what? If you're not doing very detailed work on your eye, you will probably just need 2 brushes, because usually on an everyday basis I don't do like mascara and eyeliner or anything. I use only my fluffy brush to apply a light wash of highlighter over my eyelids, so it just looks a little bit more like fresh-faced and awakened. If we're talking like today, I only used 2 eye makeup brushes. The same fluffy brush to do that exact highlighting step, and then my small detailed brush to add a little bit of shadow along my lash line. So 2 eyeshadow brushes is enough. Again, if you're really into detailed work, you do lower lash makeup, you do all the different steps that kind of resemble like a full glam makeup, then obviously it makes more sense to have like a small blending brush, a bigger blending brush, a flat shader brush. I don't know, there's so many. Obviously that makes more sense. So I for myself know there's no need to buy a new eyeshadow brush. Why? I have 2 fluffy brushes in general. I just use 1 fluffy brush. I don't need 3. I'm not into that makeup life. And also for the face, you also don't need many brushes for the face. The brush that I use for my cream bronzer, I can also use for cream blush if I want, but I usually use my fingers. But recently I've been telling myself, oh, I need a new brush to apply cream blush. And I was standing at the drugstore with a brush in my hand and I was like, but why? Why would I buy a new brush to apply my cream blush if I already have one that I use for bronzer and I can just wipe it down a little bit and use it on my cheeks? Like, that's more stuff in my collection. Why do I need 1 extra brush? I don't. So I really had to talk myself out of that one, and I'm glad that I did. And you don't have to break the bank for a good makeup brush. I've always liked BH Cosmetics makeup brushes. Recently I have been using for my powder bronzer a fluffy brush from Essence that's really nice and blends it out. It's very like fluffy, like it's not very dense, so it really blends everything out very easily. You don't have to pay much. The fluffy brush that I use on a regular basis is a MAC brush that I've had just as long as I've had my BH brushes. So I can't even sit here and be like, but if you invest a little bit, the brush is going to last longer. No, because my BH brushes are still just as good, maybe even better, because my MAC brush has so many broken bristles that it's kind of spiky sometimes. So price really doesn't say anything at this point. And I certainly don't need a new cream blush brush. And the last point, I think, kind of encapsulates everything together, and that is buy makeup to use it and experience, and not to buy yourself happy. Make the makeup process fun again. Going back to what Kelly said, like, when you are constantly trying new products, you don't even get around to using the products that you actually enjoy. And it's almost like instead of just being happy with what you love, you're wasting your time on something that will probably not fulfill you. Although you know there is already that one product that is doing everything that you want it to do, but still you feel like you have to buy more. If it wasn't for TikTok, I'm pretty curious as to what the beauty community would be like now. Because again, on YouTube, like I said, we had the massive collections, we went down into awareness mode, and oh, this is just very wasteful. And I'm just curious as to what the community would be like now if TikTok never really happened. I just feel like when I'm on TikTok, it's almost everyone trying to sell you something. Like, everyone has a new viral product, a new life-changing product. This is so creamy, this is so this is so that, and I'm tired of that. Like, I'm going to be very, very honest. I love doing these videos, I love talking about things, I love to share makeup routines. But I've had in the last couple of months a few times the thought of, why am I even making these videos? Because I'm happy with the makeup I'm using now, but I get into my head and feel the pressure of, yes, but if I don't share new products, new exciting products, then my content is boring, or that people just want to see more new stuff, more new stuff. I want to use what I have in my collection. It all in the end of the day looks the same on my face kind of thing. And I am just kind of tired of everyone shoving products down your face. I'm living through the exact same thing that has been on YouTube before. It's kind of like you get makeup coma, like you get tired of it. I know that every product does the exact same thing, but for me it's like, how different can it all be? I just don't want to have 500 blushes in my collection anymore if I only use like a handful of them at the moment. I have so much makeup in my drawers that I haven't touched because I've been just content with what I'm using currently. And again, I just sometimes feel like talking about the same thing over and over again is just not exciting to people. But then I also want to be authentic. And if I use the same stuff because I like it, then so be it. It's not even that I'm like, it's all because of TikTok. It's all TikTok's fault that everyone is going mad. No, it's not TikTok's fault. We all have to just be cautious of what we consume, of what we buy, how much we buy. And I just don't want to feed into overconsumption. I am consuming already enough. Even sometimes I already feel ashamed that I feel like I'm sharing too many products, and it's just more than anyone needs. So do with your money what you want, but I just hope that this video shows you that you don't need to buy from every brand the newest brown lip liner, the newest cream bronzer or blush in the same shade. It's not going to do anything or change how your makeup looks. No one's gonna know. You're the only one that knows. And for the longest time I was like, yeah, but I know which steps I did and it's just so much fun and I love doing detail. I just don't like that anymore. I like a more simple approach. Absolutely love makeup. Will probably never stop using makeup, but I'm just doing it in a more healthy way, I think. I'm not buying to buy myself happy. If I see something and I like it, I buy it. But I don't go on TikTok and doom scroll to know what's the newest release that I have to jump on. And I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave me your comments and your opinions down below. Please be respectful because we're all adults. I just really hope that you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you next week. Until then, please take care and we'll see each other very soon.